Inside the last 15 minutes of the SportsMax Zone for this Thursday, turning our attention now to cricket. West Indies women have won their 3-game one-day international series against Pakistan with one match remaining after taking the second match by 37 runs in Karachi earlier on Thursday. The West Indies women were sent into battle and were dismissed for 153 or 45.4 overs. Deandra Dottin top scoring with 34, while player of the match Hayley Matthews added 26. Seamer Fatima Sana was one of 3 Pakistan bowlers who took 2 wickets each. The Windies women then choked the Pakistani batters before bowling them out for 116 of 39.2 overs. Umaima Sohail followed up her solid performance with both the top score with 27, while Hayley Matthews bagged 4 for 26. The third and final game is set for Sunday. We are joined now by international cricket commentator Fazeer Mohammed. Faz, welcome again to the SportsMax Zone. Courtney Walsh getting some results from the girls.
Yes, he is, and it's encouraging. Let's not forget that we're talking about a Pakistan team that would not be considered one of the best in the women's game, and the fact the West Indies are getting ready for a qualifying tournament, so much in the same boat as the senior men's team, for that matter. But it is encouraging because the team has been on a downward slope for quite some time, certainly since the 50th World Cup of 2017, and that's why they are involved in qualifying now. Could be getting underway in Harare, not too far away from now, but yeah, it's absolutely positive and hopeful that we see the West Indies again reliant on the likes of Deandra Dottin, Hayley Matthews, who are well established in the team. But a win is a win, and 2 wins in a row, taking the series ahead of the final match. That's very encouraging indeed.
Yeah, Faz, and we have to talk about the fact that these senior players, you mentioned Hayley Matthews and Deandra Dottin, they've been struggling for some time, and it's no secret that when our senior players struggle, the Windies women, they tend to lose. We see Hayley Matthews coming to the party, and she's somebody that we've seen a lot of potential from. If Hayley continues on this trajectory that she's on, do you get the sense that the Windies women can continue to be dominant in cricket?
Obviously, if you've got all your senior players clicking, quite unlike what we saw with the West Indies team at the World T20, you are going to get better performances. And I was listening to Robert Samuels, who's involved with the West Indies coaching team that's headed by Courtney Walsh, his fellow Jamaican, of course, Robert Samuels, former Jamaica captain, former West Indies batsman. And he mentioned Hayley Matthews a couple of days ago as someone who probably they're going through a bit of a revising of her role in the team right now, because she was the bright star when the West Indies won the T20 title, the same time as the men that night in Kolkata in 2016. And whatever they're doing, it seems to be bringing out the best in some of the players. Of course, Deandra Dottin, that fantastic 132 in the first match. She top scored again in this match before she was run out. So with Hayley Matthews getting 20-odd and then getting 4 wickets, that suggests that she's rising to the challenge. And we'll have to wait and see. There's a long way to go, but it is encouraging. If they can close it out 3-0, if they can go to Harare and ensure that they qualify for the main World Tournament, that is going to be the acid test. Qualification, and then how they cope against the top teams in the women's game.
Yeah, Faz, and you spoke about them making the changes, and Hayley Matthews, who normally opens, we saw her batting at number 5, and it seems to be working for her. Do you get the sense that now that we've gotten 2 wins under our belt, and the series is ours because there's just 1 more game left, that this can be a turning point, or is it too early to call it a turning point?
I would say it's too early because it's 2 games. It's encouraging, but it's just 2 games. We need to see how things go over an extended run and not get carried away. I think than anything else, we need to give women's cricket its due. I was listening to a conversation a couple of Tuesdays ago on the Mason and Get show, where the Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines appeared to imply that in these difficult times, the priority has to be the flagship men's team, while making the point that he didn't want to appear or sound misogynistic, that the programs, including the women's, may to suffer because of the focus on the men's game. And unfortunately, in my own view, he got concurrence with that view from Andy Roberts. Andy Roberts, my favorite cricketer of all time. Because what does finances in the men's game have to do with the struggles in West Indies men's cricket? It has to do about mismanagement, poor decisions, poor leadership in many areas. Finances might be a part of it, but to suggest that women's cricket should have to suffer because there needs to be more money poured into the men's game, I think that's completely misdirected by those two individuals, and I was really surprised to hear that from them.
Yeah, Faz, I didn't know that Andy Roberts was your favourite cricketer of all time. Having said that, the preparation for the World Cup qualifying for this West Indies women's team, solid so far. We know that when they play World Cup level cricket and they have to face the Aussies, New Zealand, England, and other top quality teams, they have to step up a gear. Pakistan certainly doesn't represent, especially with some of their players out with COVID issues, a real strong opponent. How close do you think the West Indies are to getting back to their 2016 form when they won the T20 World Cup?
I think we're quite some way away because, again, it's not about pouring cold water, but it's about being realistic. We talk about misogynistic. Pakistan is a very misogynistic society, and for women to play the game in Pakistan, many of them have to overcome huge hurdles depending on which part of the country they're in. Their very lives may be at stake, and some may say that's an exaggeration. Well, if they don't understand what is going on in that environment, then they really don't have that appreciation. So credit to those who are playing cricket for Pakistan, who are taking advantage of the opportunities, and let's hope that they go from strength to strength. But right now, as you mentioned, missing a number of players because of the COVID-19 cases in their squad, they're not as strong as they would be. And even if they were at full strength, you can't count them among the top teams. So again, we'll have to wait and see. As far as the West Indies team gelling, it's good. I think any amount of victories, whatever the opposition, is good as far as building morale and momentum. But they must be aware, I'm sure Courtney Walsh, Robert Samuel, everyone else will be reminding them that there are much bigger challenges to come, and the West Indies have quite a ways to go before they get anywhere close to that level of 2016.
All right, in other cricket news, Faz, amid calls for the panel of selectors to be sacked following the dismal showing by the Windies men at the T20 World Cup, Cricket West Indies has gone ahead and extended the contracts of selection panel chairman Roger Harper and his team. This was confirmed by the CEO of Cricket West Indies, Johnny Grave, in a recent interview on the Mason and Guest show on Starcom Radio in Barbados, which you just referred to yourself as. Is this a move by Cricket West Indies that surprises you or meets your approval?
One, it doesn't meet my approval. That it needs my approval, of course. Two, it doesn't surprise me. Three, why are we hearing this on Andrew Mason's show? Shouldn't this be a matter of course that we should be notified XYZ, this contract has been extended, ABC, so-and-so person has been appointed or whatever. This is a nonsense alarm. This is utter nonsense. Not so much the decision, but the manner in which this information is disseminated. Credit to Andrew Mason for having a program that touches a lot of the bases in West Indies cricket. But I don't need to have to wait to get an expose to find that out. But to your more specific question, it's not so much flat in the face of public opinion. But the point is, just in the same way that 3 weeks ago we heard about the revising of the selection protocols and we were told not to read anything into it, it can't be coincidental that we're talking about this at the time when it appeared that the selectors were weak-kneed. It's not about the benefit of hindsight. All of this was before the World T20 tournament was played. And what is the reason? What is the rationale for extending it? If we heard from Johnny Grave, well, so much that happened over the last few months because of COVID-19, that doesn't hold any water. If it is that you want to see that the process is in place and because the team's ongoing, give us a legitimate explanation. But it basically seems so typical of Cricket West Indies, which might be wrong, but this is how it seems. It's as if, never mind what you all see out there, we are going to do what we want to do, and nobody's going to tell us otherwise.
Yeah, and just before we go fast, because we're out of time, the narrative is that, their tenure is up now, but the position that CWI is taking is that because of the proliferation of matches and, overseas assignments and assignments for this current team, they didn't want to disrupt the selection administration at this time, which is why they've given them an extra 3 months just to cover the present busy period. Does that make sense for you?
complete and utter foolishness. They extend the contract of the coach of the West Indies team, Richard Pybus, when he was so successful against England in 2019. He was replaced almost immediately for the World Cup. So, again, complete foolishness.
All right, Faz. Thanks for talking to us. We'll be talking again next week, I'm sure.
No problem at all. Take care.
Yeah, I think we're up to interactive now, Mariah.
Yeah. We're almost to the end of today's show. Follow us on Twitter at SportsMax Zone and YouTube SportsMax TV. It's time for Interactive. It was the miracle in Dubai as Australia rallied from a seemingly hopeless position to beat Pakistan and reach the final of the T20 World Cup. Well, Twitter was buzzing. Proud of our team, they deserve a heroic welcome back. The professionalism and spirit with which they played speaks volumes of what's coming in the future for Pakistan cricket. Also must say, Australia, that was a hell of a knock, and those two sweeps, wow, Pakistan. You have won our hearts and we are proud of every single one of you. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. It's the Aussie way. What a finish, and of course that fire emoji there tagging Australia. Remember one thing, you can't underestimate Aussies when it comes to World Cups. Alright, George, can we underestimate Lance's team when it comes to World Cup?
No, Lance had given up on them from the
And yesterday he said Pakistan.
Yeah, but you can understand why he said so though. But
Yeah,
when
Pakistan were favourites going into the match.
when the fifth wicket fell, I was saying to the boys in the zone room that 72 or 47 balls, the Aussies can take this, and they were saying no, the best batsmen are back in the hutch and the Pakistan bowling has a grip on this.
Yeah.
I was shocked after coming from taping the other show that Australia had won. I thought it was a mistake in the script.
Me too, because on my way to work, I left home because I was watching the match from home. And then when I got to the office, I found out that Australia had won, and I thought that they were just pulling me up.
Oh yeah. Lance, we can agree though that based on how Pakistan started, they finished 20 runs short of what they appeared likely to get.
Yeah, they did. I thought earlier on, they would have scored closer to 200 than they eventually did. But the Aussies, you don't just beat them. That's how they play cricket. And even though the Pakistanis had gone into this match as favourites based on their form and their efficiency, which they showed a lot of today, it's just that the Aussies just found something close to the end that propelled them to the finishing line.
What did I always tell you though? Pakistan will hype you up, make you feel like, oh yes, this is it. Then they'll let you down. They let their fans down today.
So who's winning the World Cup?
Well, Australia loses nothing to New Zealand. I'd love New Zealand to win, but it's against Australia. I think the Aussies will win just for that fact.
Whittaker.
Well, I don't know. I think the New Zealanders are in a better position to win. They are.
I think he's doing a trick.
They are more consistent.
Yeah,
He's going with the opposite.
reverse psychology.
No, but
Anybody who knows Skinny Banton in the Caribbean, tell him that I said this is the wickedest soca song for a long, long time. I love it.
He's been playing this at the office every day. All the time.
People calling me name, Lord.
We wonder why.